Good morning. Welcome. It's Wednesday. And you know what that means? It's the coffee break show. But first, we got to listen to the music. See you in a minute. Hey, welcome. I just want to say, Donnie and Scott, if you're watching, thank you for the message for the show. Listen, you're on the Success Secrets for Business, Family, and Life channel. This is the Coffee Break Show. I'm Vickie Helm. We go live Monday through Friday. We share tips, tools, techniques. No, we don't go live through Monday through Friday. Boy, am I rote. It's Wednesdays we go live now. And we are going to start the show today with a topic that's really, really important to me. I even made some notes today. And I want to talk about, there are three things I do that help me make my dreams come true or happen. And so you guys know I'm about ready to release another book. So you're thinking to yourself, how is it that you manifest these things? How is it that you do these things? That's what we're going to be talking about today. I see you guys jumping on. Do me a favor. Put your name down below. Be part of the conversation and come and join me. I see you there. Let's see what we got going. Hey, how are you? Mr. Ambassador is on today. I just saw a post from you yesterday and a couple of days ago, and I thought it came up in my memories because it was when you did. And I thought, oh my God, I wonder how he's doing. So glad to see you here. And we're going to go ahead and talk today about how to make things happen. How do you make your dreams come true? How is it that you live a life you love? And, the book I have coming out is going to talk a lot about this. But today, I just wanted to give you three key secrets that I use that go ahead and help me determine and do the same thing right now. So one is I use my attractor field. I know that a lot of you guys have heard of the law of attraction, and maybe you believe it or maybe you don't, but that doesn't matter. But I believe that every person has, just like everybody has a beating heart, we have an attractor field, yes? And so that attractor field is one of the things that I work on engaging. I can talk to it. I can get it to bring me auspicious coincidences, the unexpected miracle, the answer to my questions, especially if they're tough questions. You have a lot of ability as a human being that most people don't tap into. You see, we get to the point where we don't think we have an attractor field, or we don't trust ours, or we don't have faith in ourselves. And when we try to live a life we love, when we try to make our life happen for us, when we have it's like saying, I don't have a heart that doesn't beat. There's no blood running through my veins. Well, no matter what you say, even though you don't necessarily feel your heartbeat or see your heartbeat or feel the blood going through your veins, you have a tendency to have an attractor field just because it's part of your human anatomy. But it's the energetic anatomy. It's not the physical anatomy. And you can feel your heart when you run fast or you're walking fast and your heart starts beating and have you ever felt your heartbeat pound in your head where you just run or something and you've got that runner's high, or you're hiking really up the mountain and suddenly you're like, you have to stop and gather breath and you're like, your heart's beating hard then and your blood is running through your veins then? Well, that happens because you are actually working that muscle. You're actually working. So what happens is you take an action and your heart beats and your blood rushes. Well, it's the same with your attractor field. Your attractor field needs that engagement. Your attractor field needs that stimulation in order for you to feel how it's going out there. Every action is just like if you don't work your body, you don't feel your heartbeat. You don't feel the blood rushing through your brain. But when you start activity, if you take action and you increase your action, suddenly you feel that blood and that heartbeat. It's the same with your attractor field. When you take action towards your attractor field, it's just like your blood pumping. Suddenly you feel the attractor field, you feel what it's calling to you, you feel all these auspicious coincidences coming in, and you connect deeper with that attractor field. And instead of thinking, I wonder if I have an attractor field, you start being able to use your own personal attractor field. So the attractor field is an energy field that is around you. Good morning, Lori. Nice to see you on. Thanks for being here, my friend. So the attractor field is something that I absolutely use all the time to help me imagine what my future is going to be. Now, what I do, I want to talk about imagining versus visualization. So visualizations, when they tell you visualize your future, what we often visualize is the past. We're like, well, I visualized this and I've seen this. Everything you've seen or done is the past. And it's usually some sort of material thing that we're visualizing, like a car or a new girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, new home. We tend to materialize that. When I imagine, I use the word imagine because in Disney, they have a job that is for Imagineers. And Imagineers create things that aren't here yet. So it's also about creating the person you want to be in the future. Can you imagine what you look like, talk like, sound like, act like? What is it and who are you in that imagining? So what I do is I spend literally 5 minutes a day imagining the future that I want to create. What does it look like? It's not here yet for me. I don't want to visualize the past. I want to imagine a powerful new future. And I want to imagine those things that I want to have in that future. They're probably not here yet. And I'm going to implement them as I go. And I see you guys popping on. Do me a favor and put your name down below and be part of the conversation as well. So when you imagine, you're using the most powerful part of your attractor field. Hello, my love. How are you? So nice to see you, my friend. This made me smile. Nice to see you, Amber. Thanks for being here. So when we imagine, we literally push the button to our attractor field and our RAS system, which is our reticular activating system. The reticular activating system is part of your mind. It's you telling your mind what to go get. Hello, my love. How are you? Oh my God, I got your text yesterday. Thank you for being here. I'm nice to see you today. I'm excited. So once you get your reticular activating system out there looking for the thing you want, your attractor field helps it find it. Now, I want you to listen to this very closely. These are the secrets I use. I use my imaginings and my attractor field together because they're kind of buddies and they work together. Have you ever thought, I'm going to go buy this certain thing? Usually it's a car, like I'm going to go buy this new truck, Jeep, car, whatever it is that you're going to get. And suddenly you notice them everywhere. You're like, there's one over there and there's one over there and there's one over there. But before you decided to buy it, before you made that decision, you never noticed them. You never even saw them. They weren't even around you. And suddenly you decide to act on it, and your reticular activating system, your attractor field is pointing them out. There's one over there. There's one over there. There's one over there. That's the attractor field and the RAS system working together to bring you what you want. So those three key secrets about how to use that is, this is so important. I use one, the attractor field. You have to get to know how to use your attractor field. Isn't it like, okay, it's one thing, my dog is barking at no one there. So, if you hear the dog barking, it's mine. Anyway, so you get to the point where you are finding something you want, you direct your energy towards it, you're going to start noticing it in the world, whether it's a business, whether it's a creative project, whether it's something you want to change about yourself. No matter what it is, your attractor field starts working with you. What most people don't know how to do is, how do I use my attractor field? What is it? How do I use it? How does it bring me? It's not a magic lamp and it's not a magic genie in the bottle, like I'm going to rub the attractor field and it's going to bring me what I want. That's not what the attractor field is. That if that were true, I'd be married to somebody super famous and a celebrity of some sort. Many of you would be. The attractor field is the part of you that's hooked to your imagination, not your desires and your pleasure and your greed and your vanity. And it's not hooked to those. It's hooked to the spiritual aspect of you, your attractor field. And what it can attract to you and for you is the most beneficial thing for you. So RES, reticular activating system. Thank you very much, Karen. This is RES. It's a reticular activating system. But that's only one part. Rub, rub, rub. Here it is. Bring me my toys. Okay, so the point of the attractor field and the reticular activating system is that they work together. And when you have your attractor field, a lot of people have this misconception with the law of attraction. They're like, well, if I think my way and think about it all the time, that's not what's going to work. When you imagine, there's a difference between imagining and thinking. When you imagine, your mind is quiet. When you imagine, you put a movie on your mind screen. When you imagine, your mind shuts up and watches the movie. And it says, oh, that's what you want me to bring you. Oh, that's what you play it out on your mind screen. The mind doesn't think its way into anything. So this is so important to understand, because if you're looking at what is it that I can do to make my dreams come true? Well, guess what? All of those skill sets are in you right now. Right now, there's only access to this right here, right now, inside you. What happens is we've let those skill sets atrophy, and now we have to rehab them. So when we rehab them, we're out there at the gym strengthening it. So how do you strengthen that? You have to understand the difference between visualizing and imagining. Visualizations are usually things from the past. Imagining is creating a new you, a new future, a new everything. So let me just give you an example of that. A long while ago, I used to be a smoker. And for 17 years, I smoked cigarettes, and I wanted to quit. And I took like 200 times of trying to quit smoking, 200 times before I actually did. And I kept failing and failing and failing and failing and failing and failing at quitting smoking. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do to quit smoking? I'm trying to quit smoking. I'd make it every time I made a declaration, I'm quitting smoking. Everybody would be like, oh, here she goes again. She's going to try and quit smoking. Well, the thing was, the old self, the visualization, the words I used was, I'm trying to quit smoking. So what your mind heard was, I'm a smoker who's trying to not smoke. And that's what your brain hears. That's the old visualization. I'm trying to quit smoking. When you become an imagined thing, you don't become, I'm trying to quit. You start saying to yourself, I'm a non-smoker. It's a completely new paradigm for you. It's not, I'm trying to quit smoking. I am a non-smoker. And you're transforming, you're imagining your life completely. What am I doing as a non-smoker? And you're imagining that. You're not visualizing the past where you're, oh, I'm putting this out and I'm going to try to quit smoking. You imagine in your mind what you're going to do with all that extra money, or how your, new friends are going to be able to, you're going to be able to hike further or walk faster or run longer because you're no longer a smoker. So what you start telling your reticular activating system is, I am a non-smoker, not I'm trying to quit smoking. And what you're doing is speaking into existence with your imagination. I'm speaking into existence the thing that I'm imagining. And I'm telling my reticular activating system Show me every way into which I am a non-smoker. Every time I run, every time I hike, every time I do one step towards that imagining, suddenly I am a non-smoker just like that. And as soon as I did that, quitting was easy. So then I thought, well, if that worked for that, what else would that work for? And I went from, I have a small business because we say it all the time. I'm a small business owner. I'm a small business owner. You don't even think about what you're saying to yourself. And so you have to start saying things bigger. I am a CEO of a large company. I'm a CEO of a company that does whatever. And imagine what that is. And you tell your attractor field to go ahead and build that big company, that large company. We keep saying we're small business. And guess what? You probably have a small business. So words matter. That's right. I just want to look at here. No, you wouldn't. Robin is the best. It's already worked for you. Thank you. Words do matter. Yes, they do. And following those words and taking care of those words, take care of your imaginings. Now, the third thing I do is take an action. I take an action, and every time I take an action towards what I imagine, it strengthens my attractor field and then brings me all the tools, solutions, people, avenues, opportunities, auspicious coincidences, everything that I need to fulfill that particular imagining. But here's the thing, it's not like you think your way into there. And everybody thinks that you're supposed to think your way into everything. I think my way into work. I think my way into relationships. I think my way. There are some things you cannot think your way through. Could you imagine? This is what I think is funny about Tinder or those dating apps. It's you trying to think your way to falling in love. Do you know the brain doesn't know how to fall in love? You don't think your way into, hi, I want to date you because I'm thinking my way through that. That doesn't happen. And when you truly fall in love, you're just like, how did I get here? One day I was just, normal and everything was fine, and bam, it just happened. It unfolded. But your attractor field brought you in that moment, whether you liked them or not, whether you stayed with them or not, whether you broke up or not, that person was part of what you imagined for yourself, whether they treated you well or didn't treat you well. So in here, when you're taking a look at how is it that I'm going to live a life I love or create the life I want to live, and how is it that I'm going to make my dreams come true? Well, you actually have to figure out how you operate inside all the goodies you have that help you bring your dreams into fruition. And everybody's like, well, you got to take action. You got to take action. It's very hard to take action on what you think about. It's very hard to take action on what you think about. It's very easy to take action on what you imagine. So let me just tell you something right here. Every day you imagine hundreds and hundreds of things before you do them. So you're sitting reading a book and suddenly your belly bell goes off and you say, I'm hungry. Something in you will say, what do you want to eat? And you start going through your mind. Do I want Chinese food, Mexican food, a burger? What do I want? And you start putting on your mind screen these pictures just suddenly, like, oh, I guess I'll make a couple of pieces of toast or maybe some eggs. Your brain starts imagining before your body takes action. It happens every day in a nanosecond of time. You imagine without even thinking about it. You imagine all kinds of things without even thinking about it. Your body is absolutely talking to you. There's no thinking involved. You're like, hi, I'm hungry, or scratch over here, or whatever it is that happens. There's a nanosecond, if you really think about it, where you are imagining every step all the time. You are in a state of imagining. In fact, imagining doesn't happen. No action happens without the imagining. Even if you set your alarm clock and you have to go to work, you like hit that alarm clock and you're like, here's the screen of the shower and the bathroom, and you're headed right there first. You're like, okay, I got to go to the bathroom. I got to get in the shower. I got to get ready for work. And your whole system takes an action right towards that. So the first trigger of anything that you want to do is get quiet right now and just let your mind imagine. It may look like you're fantasizing, like, well, this would be the biggest, best life ever if I had this and this and this and this and this and this. Well, then once you have figured that out, where you fantasized about who you want to be and what you want to do, who are you in order to have those things? Imagine the type of person you're becoming in order to have all of those things. Then bring that person out there into the present moment and start acting like they do in a discerning way. So for instance, it would be stupid for you to say, well, I want to be a millionaire so I can buy whatever I want. And so I need to act like a millionaire now. So I'm going to get my credit card and go shopping right now. And I'm going to charge everything. Well, guess what? Millionaires don't charge. So you have to have some discernment. Don't do stupid stuff and say, well, I imagine myself doing it, so I did, because now you're just creating more debt. But if you're a millionaire and you're thinking, well, I'm a millionaire in my imaginings, what are you doing to create that millions? Who are you in order to create that millions? What kind of business do you have? What kind of income sources do you have? Bring that into the present moment. Bring that to the table right then and start going ahead and speaking that and action that into existence. So you bring everything that's out here on your imagine screen into the moment. It's just like you do in the morning. Like, okay, what's for breakfast? You imagine it here and you're like, okay, I'm going to go through the Starbucks and I'll grab a coffee and a croissant and I'm on my way to work. And it's a nanosecond that happens, but you do it. You act more on that imagining than you do on thinking about it. It is a very subtle difference, but for your attractor field, it's a major difference. It's the power behind what happens. And what happens is we don't see how fast we imagine. We think we imagine when we sit down and fantasize. You are imagining all the time. Now, what are you imagining? Are you imagining success? Are you imagining failure? Are you imagining conflict, power struggle, or ease and collaboration? What are you imagining? Because if you give your attractor field conflicting things to imagine, it's not going to know what to do. I imagine this success, but I'm probably not going to get it. Can you see where the attractor field is like, is it probably not going to get it, or is she getting it? Getting it or not getting it? Which is it? Is it this one or that one? So when you have conflicting languaging, you're telling yourself two different things. You're saying, this is who I want to become, but I'm probably not good enough to be that. And when you have those two things happening, that conflicting languaging, you put a stopgap in your attractor field. It can't do anything. It can't go anywhere. It can't create for you. You have to be definite. It's like, hi, you're either going to be a smoker or a non-smoker. You're not going to try to quit smoking. You're either a smoker or a non-smoker. That's it, Vickie. Which are you? A non-smoker or a smoker? Because this trying to quit smoking is exactly the thing that manifested. It manifested the conflict of trying to quit smoking. So when you get really clear and you use that kind of languaging to make your attractor field happen, then you suddenly are like, I am a non-smoker. I'm a non-smoker, full stop. And you take non-smoker actions. And suddenly I didn't wait to be like, okay, I'll smoke until these non-smoker actions get here. You take action and you become the non-smoker. You become the non-smoker. What did I imagine on my mind that a non-smoker did? Well, this was back in the day. So they sat in non-smoking sections of the restaurant. Non-smokers were able to walk faster, or they went jogging, or they went and danced all night because they didn't, have to smoke cigarettes. So I did all the things I thought a non-smoker would do. And suddenly, without realizing it, I was a non-smoker, and I was like, wow, how long have I been a non-smoker for now? I didn't even realize. It was like, how long is that? Oh, I'm officially a non-smoker. You don't even think about it. You're just living as a non-smoker because that's what you want to be. That's the whole point of your attractor field. It's not something you can think about. You have to imagine. And there's a vast difference between thinking and visualizing and imagining. Imagining will give you even more. It comes from your inner when you imagine. When you imagine the relationship you want, and the money you want, and the life you want, and suddenly they come up. And so up here, what I do is I tell myself, what book do you want me to write next? And boom, there it is. What book do you want me to write next? Boom. And every single time that those conversations come up, I take an action towards it. I make the outline and I begin writing it, and I build all the business behind it, all the things for Carrie, all the things that are there. You have to bring the creation into the moment. And the way you bring the creation from over here into the moment is by taking an action. And imagining is your first action. Writing it down or doing that next best step, that's the next action. And every time you do that, if you just quiet your mind enough, you'll feel something inside your heart that feels a lot like determination. And what you feel in determination right here, that's your attractor field beating. That's your attractor field saying, yes, go get this. And it's determined to find the solution. It's determined to bring you an answer. It's determined to create some auspicious coincidence. It's determined to bring you a miracle that you need. It's determined. And that's how when you run, you feel your heartbeat. When you do this, you feel your attractor field click on. And suddenly, when you're so excited about something, and you can't stop thinking about it or them or what happened, you're just stewing in it. You're simmering in that feeling. That simmering is your attractor field. It's out there doing its thing, what it's supposed to do, and bringing you that fruition that you want in your dreams. So I really wanted to go deep today and say, what is it that you do? My attractor field is on all the time, and so is yours. The question you have to ask yourself is, are you willing to command your attractor field? And if you are, 5 minutes a day of imagining what it is that you want to have and become and bring it in, just imagine it, or just take a moment today and notice how many times you imagine throughout your day. Oh my gosh, I imagined a sandwich and I made one. Oh my God, I imagined going to the post office and I went, or the grocery store and I went. It's so subtle and you think it's nothing. And yet it is the ruler of your day. Imaginings. I know people think, well, my thinking is the ruler of the day, but only because you put your thoughts in charge. When you put your imaginings in charge, more things will appear in your life. That's what I have for you today on the Coffee Break Show. And I want to thank all you guys for popping in. Karen, I want to tell you I love you. Amber, I love you. Don and Scott, thank you for being here with me today. And I just want to say to y'all, nobody gets out of here without listening to music. All right, I'll see you next Wednesday.